What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a video, and I'm going to list reasons why getting the Google Pixel 10 was a great decision for me. Now, hear me out what I said. The decision's for me. This is not for everybody else, so don't get in your feelings and try to convince me that it was a poor choice. Pointless. So one of the biggest things about the Google Pixel 10 that I really am just happy with is obviously the cameras. I'm going to start off with the cameras. I can't tell you guys that how many times that I do things with my family and I'm able to snap some photos. And I don't post everything to social media, so you guys don't see everything. But I got some pretty nice photos, and those photos come out really nice looking. They're really good. It's the type of photos that I would like to see. So I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with what it produces as far as photography and everything like that. Majority of photos are shot with my main 3 camera sensors on the Pixel 10, and it creates some very good photos. And the cool thing, the reason why I'm so big on photos is because every so often I use Google Photos to compound these photos together that are like the best out of all the ones I've taken for like a specific set of time. And I make photo albums with it, and those photo albums are saved. So yes, I have a collection of photo albums, and they're all taken from the Pixel 10. Maybe one day I'll unveil that to you guys and show you guys the photo albums. But you know, for the most part, I mean, that's what it is. Like, do I use my Pixels to record videos for YouTube? Yes, I do. Videography is not the most important thing to me, because these are the types of videos that I make. It's just me talking to you guys. There's not really anything outside of that. It's like, you know, just sharing my opinions, sharing my thoughts, and sharing some facts about some phones that I have my hands on. That's really all that I do video-wise. But I love going, traveling to places, stopping and taking pictures, making those memories. And these photo albums are going to get passed on to my kids. So that's, you know, one of the reasons that I'm happy with upgrading to the Pixel 10. The other reason why is the software. Now, I'm not talking just specifically Android 16 as just a blanket thing. I'm talking about all the really cool features inside of the Pixel 10 that's also found in other previous Pixels. But that would, you know, that would be just the intelligent software that this thing has with AI, and the things it's able to do really is handy for me. It really is. I mean, it has made doing certain things so simplified that I kind of forget that it's something that's exclusive to Pixels. It's exclusive to its AI, you know, to the tensor, to you know, Gemini Nano and all that stuff. And like, I forget, you know, so when switching to like a OnePlus device or switching to like a Samsung Galaxy for like a few days, and I'm like, just like, it's not a terrible experience. It's not a terrible switch up, but it, you know, it does feel a little bit different. And that's just because the things that I'm used to using on my Pixel, I don't have with those phones. Or, you know, it's something that I have to like have like a small workaround with those phones. So AI intelligence on the Google Pixel 10 is absolutely solid, and so I enjoy that. That's one of the reasons why I get it. The AI software, and it's kind of the reason why I don't really go for Apple, right? Apple intelligence is not a thing just yet. Let's just be real. I'm not trying to, like, you know, diss the Apple fans or anything like that. I'm just speaking as what's real. What's real is that Apple intelligence is not a thing yet. It'll get there. Eventually it'll get there. Eventually it'll have some really cool things, and I can't wait to see that down the road. But as of right now, it doesn't rival Gemini. So another thing about the Google Pixels that I absolutely enjoy about it, obviously, is like now the whole software in all of itself, Android 16 and, you know, the future Android versions that's going to come to it. Like, in the very beginning, when, you know, we were stepping away from feature phones like the LG Rumor Touch and all those, quietly moving into the smartphone OS wars, technically, right? So you had iOS on iPhones, you had Android. And Android, to me, it's always resonated with me. I mean, you know, it's crazy when I sit and I think about where, like, and how far Android has come from, like, the very first smartphone that I had that had Android Eclair, all the way to Android 16 with Material 3 Expressive. Like, it's like massively have changed, you know. But when I pick up a phone that has, you know, Android 2.1 or 2.2, and I look at it, you know, the nostalgia just hits, because even back then, you know, there was just so much customizations that you could do, and that was one of the reasons that I was like pro Android, over iOS. Like iOS was so locked down, you couldn't really do anything with the user interface. Everything, it had to be the way that Apple wanted it to be. And that really was my argument case of why I would rather be on Android than on iOS. You know, some people back then would just take these things to like another level, these arguments, which I never understood why. It's like, if you rather would have iOS, that's the reason why you should buy an iPhone. And if you really like Android, that's the reason why you should buy an Android. But I don't know, when people kind of like make it where you have to buy what they buy, I think that's a stupid concept, and people really should knock it off on social media with that. So, you know, with the Android operating system and everything that I was offering even back then to what it is today, I mean, it still fits, you know, exactly what I want out of a microcomputer, aka a smartphone. And so that's the reason, you know, one of the reasons why like I'm happy with the decision to upgrade to the Pixel 10. That's the whole end game goal when you put out a brand new phone every year, is that it has to be, you know, better than the previous model. The processor chip has to be more powerful and more efficient than the previous chip. That makes sense. You know, if it doesn't, if the older chip performs marginally better than the newer chip, then there's a problem. So you know, with Android, with the cameras, with the AI features, which is basically what a Pixel is, obviously, you know, that's why I feel great about my decisions to upgrade to the Pixel 10. I don't feel like it's a hindrance because the iPhone 17 is doing $256 at a base model price of $799. Like, you know, Apple had to do that. They were, in my opinion, for someone who's been following tech for so many years, they have been falling behind. And they needed to do something drastic in order to remain relevant before, you know, they would just come to think of the past. They're not trying to become HTC that becomes forgotten, okay? Yeah, you guys totally forgot HTC, right? They're not trying to become them. Apple, you know, has a good leg in this competition. They will be around for many years, way after. It's just they needed to do something drastic. They needed people to be excited for them again. The iPhone 16 really wasn't much of an upgrade from the 15, really wasn't much of an upgrade from the 14. So they needed to do something drastic. But just because the iPhone 17 has 256 gigs of internal storage, like, yeah, if mine's had 256 at you know, $799, would I've got my Pixel 10 at that? Of course. Being honest with you guys, it's kind of stupid to say no, I'll stick with 128. I do know that applications are getting bigger and data is getting bigger. So yes, you know, it would make sense to have more, but it's got 128. Doesn't mean it's detrimental and it's obsolete. I can make 128 work. I know how. A lot of people do. Like, I don't have a lot of stuff on my phone. I just don't. I don't download a bunch of games and stuff like that and play on my phone. That's just not the type of user I am. So I think people also have to remember that too. When you start advising is fine, right? You know, be like, hey, why get that when you can get this with more storage capacity? You can get this with, you know, better camera or whatever. You know, like, hey, that's cool. But when people are like, nah, you know, I'm gonna go with what I want to go with. They're like, why? Don't get angry over it. Don't be mad. It's not your money. Like, well, what are you getting so angry about? They're not taking money out of your wallet to go buy them a new upgraded phone. Come on now, calm down. Everything's gonna be okay. Those are like the top 3 reasons that, you know, I upgraded to the Pixel 10. Camera, AI intelligence, Android operating system. Simple as that. I don't need to list 150 things about it. Yeah, so that's it for Sunday's video. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.